All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat. Baruch Hashem, another beautiful day here at Shira David. And with Siyata D'Shmai, we're going to continue our lessons in Likutey Halachos. Baruch Hashem, Haidul Hashem Ki Tov. We're in Hilchos Tefillin, Halacha Hey, and today we're learning letter Ches, 8. So we're in 5-8. All right? And we're getting deeper and deeper into the story of the 7 beggars, and Reb Nosson is really focusing on here the Iver, the blind beggar, right? And we spoke so much about him already. We know he wasn't really blind, and he was old, but he wasn't old. He was young, right? And we all it makes sense now, right? When I mentioned that, okay, good. Okay, so the Rebbe says today, V'zeh bechinas erech hapayim latzaddikim v'lereshayim. So this is what it means that HaKadosh Baruch there has to be the same idea. We're learning about this idea of erech hapayim, that a person has to have patience with themselves. It's a midah of the Rebbeinu Shalom, and we have to try to emulate the midas of Hashem. That's our job in this world, right? To emulate the midas of Hashem. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the Yud Gimel Midas Harachim, in the 13 principles of mercy, right? Attributes of mercy. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu teaches us of erech hapayim, right? He's slow to anger, patience. I guess another word would be savlanut, right? Patience, right? Take it easy. And we learned yesterday, we have to take it easy with ourselves, and we have to realize the concept that we're constantly new, and we have to just make that part of ourselves. If we really believe that we're constantly new people, we can constantly be making changes for the better. We can constantly do that. And we don't fall to the zikna, the sitra acher, right? That we said the zikna, the sitra acher is from the melech zokein uksil, right? They call him the melech zokein uksil, right? So we don't want to fall to that. All right. So there's when we learned the concept, and Rav Nosson is just going to review it today. Really, the concept of this erech hapayim when it comes to tzaddikim, where the tzaddik has to understand the tzaddik, even though the tzaddik works so many years and he puts so much effort into his avoda, but every day his avoda has to be something new, because the tzaddik realizes he's a new person every single day. Right? And then we said that, of course, on the other spectrum, the person that was steeped in their sin, they need the erech hapayim perhaps even more, because they have to constantly recognize that, albeit that they did whatever they did even a moment ago, but then this moment is a new segment of their life. This moment is new, and this moment they can make a change. It's only if they're connected to the sitra acher, and the sitra acher says, no, you're the same person. You just sin now, and because you just sin now, you're not a good person. You're no good. But if you could come back and tell the sitra, okay, that's true. I just sinned then. That was in the past. But now, in the present, I'm new, so I don't have to sin now. And again, Reb Nosson told us that this person needs to really have a lot of patience and cut himself a lot of slack, because again, he's going to find that he's going to fall again, and he's going to fall again. It doesn't matter. We know that the Navi told us Sheva Yipol Tzaddik V'Kom. The main thing is that we have to constantly get up. So if the Russia understands that. Well, he's not really a rush at this point. If he's really working on his tshuva, so this individual, well, let's call him this individual at this point, which is on his road to success, if he's following this program, that he's constantly new, and even though he's making the mistakes, but he knows he's constantly new, so sooner or later, if he just keeps going with it, he'll go on the path of good, and he'll be able to just discard all the other stuff. And then again, no one should ever think that, you still have to make tshuva for everything that we did, of course, and that's something else. But this is the program of how to snap out, how to get out of the downward spiral. How to get out of it? How do you stop that downward spiral? You want to say something, Ellie? I see you want to say. Please, Ellie. Ellie, please.
I was thinking of this phrase, Sheva Tzaddik, Sheva Yipol Tzaddik, because that's the formula.
Yeah.
Sheva Yipol, right? Tzaddik for come.
Yeah.
So
That's how we're reading it now. That's how it's unbelievable, right? And the world says the other, because again, you have to really read it that way. Why? Because the Tanya says what? That if the Tanya is struggling over who's the Beinani, right? That's the whole. It's the first book of Tanya is called the Sefer Beinani, right? That's the Beinani. So he goes through in the first chapter of Tanya. Well, let's understand who is a tzaddik, who is the Rosh, who is the Beinani. Right, so he tells you clearly that tzaddik is someone that never sins, because if you sin, you call the Rasha. If you're a Rasha, so then you're not a Beinani. So who's the Beinani? He comes up with the thing that the Beinani never sins, but he's constantly battling with the Yetzer Hara. He has the Yetzer Hara and he's constantly battling. He's constantly winning. So perhaps this is the method here. In other words, if I realize I'm constantly new, and it's a new battle now, and I have to get my strength together again at this moment, because it's a battle. Because the Beinani knows he's living his life. It's a battle. He's always in battle mode, right? Like a soldier that's in combat mode, right? A combat soldier that's in battle, right? He's on the he's vulnerable, right? So the soldiers they have to be on guard all the time. Right? If they're at that base, they're a little bit more relaxed, right? Although we know one time over here there was a big menace with the base too, right? At the base also, right? They made a tunnel underneath, right? Yeah. That was a nace gadol nifla, right? Wow. Anyway. Okay, so that's the concept over here. So that's why maybe I like how you said that, Eli. Sheva Yipol Tzaddik V'Kam.
What does that mean?
The Sheva, the 7 times he can fall down. He can keep falling down. Tzaddik, if you're going to take the midah of tzaddik, then you're about to get up. It's a beautiful pshat. Okay, here we go. So now he says, Hatzadikim trichen lemidah zo. Right? We said that the tzaddikim need this midah of the erech hapayim because that's the zikna de kedusha. What's zikna de kedusha? The person gets older, right? But the person also is working on his tzidkis. He's working on this concept all the time of erech hapayim, and he's constantly working on the newness in his life, and he's seeing the newness in his avodas Hashem. So that's the zikna de kedusha. If he always has that outward, that beautiful approach to life, always that newness in his life, that's zikna de kedusha. Bechinas harichas yomim v'shanim, because again, we said that each segment, we gave the example yesterday of a video, right? So a person can take that moment, and a person can make a video. We have the video, right? So then he can share that with everyone. It's something. You made something from it, right? You captured something, right? So the question is, how do we capture something all the time in our life? Every moment of our life, how are we constantly capturing things to be marech hayomim? In other words, that's how we're trying to, what we're doing is we're trying to be marech hayomim. We said that arichas yomim, long life, doesn't mean long life, but the world translates long life. Long life, the world says you just become older and older and older and older. That's long life. But how do you take the life and make it meaningful life? Right? That's really what we're learning. How do you make the life meaningful? Right? And purposeful and meaningful. Is that a good way to say it? Is that purposeful and meaningful? Okay, good. Excuse me. Okay, bechinas arichas yamim b'shan. Okay, bechinas chayim aruchim. And then that's what we say. This is when we say chayim aruchim. When we're talking about long life, longevity, We're talking about how to take the time and how to elongate your life and make your life more meaningful and purposeful. Okay, the Hainu. The Sitra Achra, Chas v'Sholom. You shouldn't fall to the zikna, the sitracha, right? Look, the sitracha works with the tzaddik the same way he works with the rasha. He tells the tzaddik, look, you already went through Shas 25 times. You already know all the sugis. You already went through Shulchan Aruch. You know Torah. You're a Balkar. You could read the whole part. You can read the whole Torah in your mind, right? You know everything. So what are you bothering? Right? That's what he'll do with it. That's what he'll do on that side. Then he'll go to the Russian. He'll tell the other guys, look, you're a loyutz. Look, you failed again, and you failed again. So why should you bother? Unbelievable, right? The tachbulas, the strategies of the Yetzer Hara, it's fascinating. So Rav Nosson is really revealing to us really what are the strategies and how it works on both spectrums. Okay? A person's avodah shouldn't be to him old. It becomes more like, I guess, monotonous, right? It just becomes, again, I'm doing this again, right? Or chalusha, he becomes weakened by it. He just becomes, he doesn't have that motivation. He loses the motivation. Okay, Irak lechadesh kineshe ne'urav b'chol pam. And again, in the story, that we know that when the Ivra gave over his analysis of the eight Zakanim, right, and he said that came the great eagle, and the great eagle gave the haskama, right? It's worthy to just read the story again if it makes sense. What I'm telling you, that's great. If not, maybe read the story one more time. It was the great eagle, and when you read the story, what's an eagle? What does an eagle have to do with anything, right? I mean, the story itself, how can an eagle give haskama? Right? No, but why did Rabbi Nachman use the word of an eagle? Why did he use the example in the story of an eagle? Because we said the eagle, no matter how old the eagle gets, the eagle conjures up the newness and that vigor to become young again, to protect its family, and to be constantly new. So Rabbi Nachman used that example of the eagle because the eagle is doing that. That's the way of the eagle. So the eagle gave the haskama that this is the way of the Iver, that he's old, but he constantly conjures up that new strength, that new vigor each day to start with that new motivation each time. So that's an amazing idea to understand why it was an eagle. B'chol yoyim yaskil mechodesh b'toisves kedusha ba'avoda v'loy ya'af v'loy yigal li'olam. Right? A person shouldn't get tired. He shouldn't get weary. Right? Ever. The person should always realize it's a new day today. It's mamish a new opportunity. Each day is a new opportunity. Each moment is another opportunity. It's amazing. It's mamish amazing. Right?
It is amazing.
It is amazing.
It is.
It is amazing.
Yes.
Yes. There we go. V'lo yizbalbel mishum davar shezeh bechinas erichas hapayim. And don't get confused. Don't get mixed up from anything. And if you can, because you know what your program is, you know what your goal is, right? If we understand what is our goal, and we ground that in us, and we understand really what is my goal in life, and I really make that part of me, and I fix that in my being. So I'm constantly new. Then anything that comes in my way, I'll just go right through it. It's not going to bother me because I know what I'm trying to accomplish. Right? I know what I'm trying to accomplish. Sometimes you're trying to do. You ever happen like this? Sometimes you're trying to do something. You're trying to go somewhere, and then someone comes over to you and they start to talk to you about this, that, the other thing, and you really got to get to the place. You really got to go. I'm sorry, I got to go. I will talk later. Bye bye, and you just go. You ever happen like that? You really have to get somewhere, and then someone just. To me, that's the example of this, where again I have my approach. I have what I have to do, and I know what I have to do. And there are going to be things that are going to come in my way. But if I know what I need to do, I can be successful. At least I know. I have to know what my goal is. right? I have to know what my tafkid is, my goal is. Ki lepamim nis yagya ha'oived es Hashem machma shekvar sovel kama yisurim. So sometimes you have an Eved Hashem, right? He's working hard, but he has a lot of problems, right? Could be he had financial problems. Could be he had health issues. He had different things, right? Shasovel kama yisurim, but all the time he's constantly renewing. Vayedeze yochel lipo lebechina zikna de sitracha v'toshes koyach hasom. Well, if he doesn't renew himself constantly, right, and he has this problem and that problem, so then he'll fall to the other side. You see, many times HaKadosh Baruch Hu will send somebody a test in life to see what are you going to do now, to see what the person's really made out of. When everything is going well, when everything is going nice, and you're in the program, that's great. Okay, but now if I throw a curveball, are you still going to be okay? That's the question. So if we know this, and even as we go through life, and we have those curveballs, because it's inevitable, we'll all get certain things. We're going to have to deal with it. So again, Rav Noson's preparing us. How do I deal with these things? I have to realize I need this arichas apayim constantly, so I shouldn't fall. Al kein tzarich lischazik me'oy b'midas erech apayim. So then you need this midah of erech apayim even more. See, the Sitra will say to you, look, buddy, you're doing such a good job, right? You're serving Hashem so long, so many years, and now look, you have this problem. You have this problem. See, proof that what you're doing is no good. Or else, why would you have this problem? Right? That's what the Sitra will say. But if you say to the Sitra, look, I understand that. But again, I understand that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has a program in the world that there's always going to be a Yerida that's going to come, which is going to be L'tzairich the Aliyah. So perhaps I'm going through a Yerida right now in this Sayan that I'm going through, this test that I'm going through. But it's only because Hashem wants to raise me up. Right? Again, right? In other words, if a person's going, let's say a person's in school, right? They're in school and they enjoy the classes, everything is good, right? But then comes the midterms, right? The finals, right? And then those are difficult, right? Because you enjoy the class constantly, right? You enjoy the new information. Perhaps you like the teacher, right? It was good, and you just enjoy the material. But then wait, now I have to take the test. That's a little bit more complicated, right? But again, when you pass that test and you do well on the test, how well does a person feel? They feel great, right? It may have been difficult to prepare for this, but you feel so accomplished. You want to say something, Eli?
I remember when I took the bar.
Yeah.
I had a chavrusa, and he said, "It's silly to worry about the bar. You passed it or failed it well before you're going to take the bar. It doesn't. It's not. That's just.
It's a formality.
It's a formality.
It's a formality to take the test, right?
Right. And he was right. The problem is never the problem. The problem is how I relate to the problem. Right? And so if I look at the problem as this is an interesting challenge, or this is just something to get through, and I need to approach it with enthusiasm and move through. But if I watch kids. I remember walking in, and people broke into tears. It was unbelievable to watch.
Wow.
It was just you're going to be sitting there the whole day. That's
you mean at the bar exam when you're taking that
exam? It's
okay.
a day. Sometimes it depends on the state.
Okay.
2 days, and people walk in, and you see people who are bright, right? They're at the top of their class.
Yeah.
They're like,
and they freeze.
And they're freaking out.
Absolutely
freaking out.
Wow.
And you realize if you just sit down and just just do the work, you'll be okay. And sure enough, it was
right. Well, that's again. I think that comes from Gaiva.
Yeah.
In other words, they're so worried that this guy that's not such a bright student, he may do better than me. But how could that be?
Right. That also is
a lot of that. It's
right.
There's so much stuff. It's so complicated to understand.
The other thing I find with this is that Gaiva is that worry.
Yeah. No, gaiva
is
is pride.
Pride. Oh, yeah, that's a bit. That's a
Right, so the guy comes in. That's what I was trying to say. He's the top of the top student. It's a challenge to to finish the top student, right?
You always ping pong back and forth between depression, if I feel like I'm going to fail, or if I feel like
I'm going to do
somebody else
great.
is going to take what's mine, or if I feel I'm going to do
Yeah.
great. It's like boom, boom,
Boom, bang, bang, bang. Yeah.
But what this does, it allows me to shorten that time and lengthen my life. Because you shorten your worry. If you're worried about something,
Your life is no life.
That's
You're
no
like,
life. No. It's so futile to
no,
worry.
but I found I've been able to shorten my worry time. I mean,
Yeah.
where I used to do it 3 weeks, now I do it 3 days.
Maybe do it in 3 minutes, and then go to 3 seconds.
I think I did that yesterday.
Yeah.
I did it for about an hour maybe.
It's you. Does anyone ever accomplish anything? They say worrying is like a rocking chair, right? Worrying is like a rocking chair. You can go in a rocking chair, you can go back and forth, maybe you don't go anywhere. Is that like that? It's a rocking chair. You don't go anywhere. That's worrying.
I would enjoy a rocking chair.
You what?
Not that right.
No, that helps for a lot. But I'm just giving you the example that here you could just be going back and forth in your mind, all those things. What are you accomplishing? It's not going to change anything. If you pray for the certain situation, then that can certainly make a change, right? If you do something, but sitting there and worrying, it's just going to make a person crazy.
Well, one of the models that I've learned is that you have the circle of influence and the circle of concern. And if you focus on the circle of what you have control over, then you make that bigger. But if you focus on the circle of concern, you make that one bigger, and the other one shrinks.
Yeah.
So it's like, worrying doesn't do you any good. It's a vodazara, isn't it, in a sense?
I don't know if it's a vodazara. I don't. No one.
I'm worshiping worrying.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. But this is getting you out of
Money was
worrying.
compared to avodah zarah. I know anger is compared to avodah.
Anything can be in the
Yeah. All right. Okay.
I don't know.
So this individual that's working hard and everything, and he goes through that test, he's going to have to really, to really apply this arichas apayim in those circumstances, so much more so because he needs to stay in his program. Kol yamei chayav laharich apay beruchay al kol hayegiyos v'akvedos. He has to always be married. He has to have that patience. He has to always have that just cut some more slack each time. Al kol hayegiyos, and all the things he's toiling, v'kvedos, all the hardship, whatever hardship the person finds himself in. Lahaschil b'chol pamei chodesh, and constantly start again. And again, the same thing. If a person's going through a certain thing, he can constantly say, "Okay, I have this ailment, but I had this ailment a moment ago. Doesn't mean I have to have this ailment right now, right?" And as I have this problem. I have a headache. Let's say a person has a headache. Okay, well, it's a simple thing. I have a headache. So I had a headache a moment ago, but why does that mean the headache has to continue now? If I realize now is a new moment, I can convince myself that the headache can go away. You can use it because again, it's a new segment. We know that a person has a headache. It goes if everything's okay, the headache will subside after a time, right? If you take some Tylenol or Ecamol or whatever you're going to take, it'll maybe go a little quicker. But again, if you realize that I'm taking, I have this problem now, but wait a second, that's now, but now I'm starting a new time. This moment is new. So why do I have to continue with that?
It's interesting. Rav Asher Freund used to, he was in situations where literally he was having a heart attack. And you'd see, and his face would be like black. And a second later, it would change. It would change. And you watch this happen. And it's like stunning. This is this.
This is it. That's what he was doing. He figured in his he said in his mind, hey, that's a second. I'm different now. It's over. That was then. Now I'm fine.
They also used to ask him, he would climb up on Har, he was not a young man, right? He would be climbing up on Har Meron, and he would be moving faster than like all the young guys.
How do you do
And
it?
they're like, how would you do it? He said, it's only one step.
One step at a time.
Yeah, it's just one step. I only have this step. So, that's you're looking at like, the mountain. Stop looking
No,
at
I
the
tell
mountain.
my wife that every time I'm walking up here, on Matat Cohen, we're going up that hill. I said, don't look up the hill.
Right.
Just look at the floor and look at the step that you're taking. You can't see the incline.
Right.
There's no incline. There's no incline. If you look up the hill, then you tell you, oh, this is hard to do.
Right. Nachon. B'diuk zeh.
Right? Just look at the step. You're taking another step. And take a break for a second if you need to. No problem. Take a break for a second. But just keep looking at the step. It works for me. Anyway, that's what I try. These are you need the different techniques in order to be successful with even going up Matat Cohen. You need everything. Everything. That's the way of erech hapayim of the tzaddikim, that they need to have this midah constantly. Again, like we said, that the Yetzer will come to them and tell them that you know everything already and this and that. So of course they need it. And if they're going through any life challenges, like he explained a moment ago, they take on this thing of erech hapayim, and it can just bring them into a new segment, into a new outlook. Everything can mamish change in a second. Everything can change for the better in a second. V'yesh b'chinas erech hapayim l'Reshaim. Okay, so again, Reb Nosson just wants to teach us this concept that is like he started today, that there's the erech hapayim l'Tzaddikim, erech hapayim l'Reshaim. Shegam Reshaim, Hashem Yisbarach Marich Lahem Apoy Kol Yemei Chayim. Hakadosh Baruch Hu has a lot of patience with the Reshaim. He has all the days of their life. He lets them make all the mistakes that they're making. He gives them life. He constantly is giving them life, and that's the proof, because he's giving them life. That's his erech hapayim. Constantly giving them life. Why? Why? Kidei sheyashuvu. Hashem wants them to return, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts different situations in people's lives. It's unbelievable. A guy called me up the other day. It was fascinating because I put on one of the email. I put my phone number on one. Okay, so he calls me up. He says, I don't look Jewish. He tells me, I don't look Jewish. I don't wear a kippah. He tells me. The guy has like longer hair. He sent me a picture. He has like longer. Okay, fine. And he says he was in the mall, and he said a Chabad rabbi came over to him and told him, "You're Jewish. You want to put on tefillin?" He was blown away. How did he know I was Jewish? How did he know I was Jewish?
The nose gives it away.
Something else. I played with the diaspora yeshiva band.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Wow.
And I went with them to Europe. We went on tour.
Okay.
And one of the fellows, Shimmy Green, who used to play with the light band, had this gift. He would walk over we were in Piccadilly Circus, right? He walked over to some woman sitting on the floor, and he asked her for her name. And she looked at him, and she gives him some Indian, I don't know, some long drawn-out name. He said, "No, your Jewish name." The woman, her jaw dropped, and she starts to cry, and it just went on and on.
Amazing.
It was something. It was really something.
Yeah, no, so I believe HaKadosh Baruch Hu said these are the things that he puts the different circumstances in people's lives to help them. You think you're going to try to, have that Indian name. You think you're going to look like a guy. You think you're going to do it. But I'm going to show you, wait a second, you're really Jewish. I'll remind you. I'll send these people to remind you who you really are. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was striking.
It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. How did he know I was Jewish?
She just said it over and over again.
Right? They're the same story. Wow. Wow, but it could be because why? Because Hashem wants them to come back. And I don't think the Reshaim, they don't think they know that. See, if the Reshaim would know, they just feel that, listen, it's like we gave the example with Acher, right? Acher said, listen, the Baskol came out and said, I don't have Olam Haba. I can't do tshuva, so I might as well enjoy my life. That's what he said, right? That's what Acher said. I might as well enjoy my life. But if the Reshaim understood, and if Acher understood at that time, again, and I believe Acher was Mamash at Tzaddik, and of course he was Rebbe Meir's Rebbe, and again Hashem put him through that so we could talk about it today, and he can help us. And I believe he probably did tshuva shleima, and it was all some the way Hakadosh Baruch Hu does his amazing things in the world, so we could talk about it, so we could learn from it, right? But again, if you take somebody and they understand that it could mamish be new now, it doesn't matter what I did, and Hashem wants me to do tshuva. That's the point. Hashem wants me to come back. That's the purpose. That's the whole purpose. He wants me to come back. He wants me to do tshuva. They don't think it's a possibility. They think they're so far gone that it's not a possibility. So that's why they need this so much more so. They need to understand it doesn't matter how far gone I am. As long as there's a breath of life, the person can make tshuva. Unbelievable. The person can make tshuva, and Hashem, because Hashem wants that. Wow. Right? Until the day the person dies, Hashem is yearning. Techake. It's a right. How would you translate that, Eli?
It's anticipating.
A yearning, like a desiring. Right? The desire, yearning for this person to come back. Hashem wants it. He's waiting. Right. He's waiting.
Waiting is
waiting, he's yearning, desiring for him to come back. Al kein tzrichin gam ha-Reshaim ba'atzma. And therefore the Reshaim themselves, L'schazek b'midah zoi shel erech hapayim. They need this also. This is not just for the tzaddikim. This is also for the people that are trying to come back to Hashem, or not even trying to come back yet. But they need to know this. They need to know this message, that you can come back, and the method is because now you are new. Right now you are a different person. You don't have to keep doing the same thing again. That was then, now you can make the change. That they're all their riches, all of their things that they did in the past shouldn't be mebalbel them. That shouldn't confuse them from coming back to Hashem, because they could put that all aside. And again, no one should think that we're teaching over here that you don't have to make rectifications for those things. And yes, you do have to still make rectifications at the right time. At the right time. And when the person does tshuva, we know all of those iniquities can mamish become into merits. All of the zidonius mamish nasius kezechuyas. And it's such a beautiful concept for everyone to really understand. They shouldn't be worried. Yeah, okay. If you read the Sifrei Musar, right? That'll yeah, okay. I did this and this and that. Oh boy, I'm in trouble. I'm done. My goose is cooked. I'm done. But no. Again, Rav Nosson's teaching us here through the lesson, through the story, that again, you put that all aside, because now. And again, not to say that you don't have to fix those things. You do. And even what the Sifrei Musar say, it's true. And you do have to fix it. But again, you'll fix it when you can. You can't use that method to get out of that downward spiral. It's not going to work. You need this method in order to stop the downward spiral, in order to go upward. Okay. Befrat im hischiluk far eze pa'amim v'noflu mizeh. Especially if they tried, right? They went, right? They came to Shira David, right? And they had a nice Kabbalah Shabbat, right? Beautiful. And they were inspired. And then they go back, to their things again. and they shouldn't discount it. Wait a second. I enjoyed that davening. That's in the Nekuda Taiva. Grab onto that. That was something I didn't know I would enjoy that, but I did enjoy it. Wow, that's something amazing. Let me grab onto that. All the time they make different Shabbatons, NCSY and all these organizations. And I speak to them all the time, and I tell them that you have to teach these boys and these girls when they go back, things are don't discount the beautiful opportunity you have now, because a lot of them, they come for their Shabbaton, they go to their camp. I'm I'm on the board with Camp Nagila, right? It's an amazing thing. They take kids from public schools and different things, and they go upstate. They go upstate New York for 3 weeks, and they it's Gan Eden. They experience something amazing, but then they go home, and then they have all the stuff again. Everything starts all over again. But to know that this was something special, and this is something you acquired. And take that with you, and you can use that constantly to show what was really important to me. What's really important? I really enjoyed those 3 weeks. I really enjoyed that Shabbos. That was really special for me. Maybe I want that more. How can I get that more? How can I experience that more? Because that was real joy. They felt real joy, right? When you experience a beautiful Shabbos and a beautiful tefillah, that's true joy. That's true. You don't want it to really end. You feel so involved. No, right? It's such a special feeling, right? When people do all the other things, so then they do their thing, and then they need to do something else again, and there's always something they're always lacking. They feel lacking, and they need more and more and more. Oh, that's wow. Oh, even though if they fell many times, it doesn't matter. They needed so much more. Grab onto this again. Afal pi chein. Yiftechu bechazdei hagodol. Believe in the chesed of Hashem. Oh, wow. Bitchu v'Hashem, right? We have to recognize the chesed of Hashem. V'yarichu apam v'rucham al kol ma she'oiv aleim. And the things are going to happen. The things are going to happen, but just take it easy. Cut a little more slack. Try again. V'yischasku b'chol pam lahaskel me'ata me'chodesh. And each time start me'ata. From now, I'm starting new. Me'ata me'chodesh. Right now, I'm new. Right now, I'm starting. Ula yiske me'ata. Ula, maybe, perhaps, this time I'll be successful. But if the person knows that, right? The person constantly knows I'm new. Now is new. Okay, maybe now I'm going to be successful. I'm going to try again. Ularachim alatzmai, to take compassion on himself, right? La'azayv darkoi, to abandon his ways, u'machshavosav mikaydem, that he had beforehand. Right, all of the things that he thought constantly till he learns a beautiful lesson like this, that he thinks that he's this person and he can't change, and things are just the way they are, and it can't change, but he can abandon that. And like we said with the lesson with Acher, right, Elisha ben Avuya, right, even he could have changed. The Torah's the Baskel came out. That was a test. The Torah loy b'shamayim. He didn't have to listen to the Baskel, right? We don't have to listen to a Baskel. Torah loy b'shamayim. The Torah is in this world, right? When the heavenly announcement comes out, that's great. You want to say something, Eli?
No, I was just thinking. Rabbi Akiva was the antidote, right? Because he lost 24,000 students, and he was the pinnacle of. V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, and Dafka, his students, and he must have just been crushed. And he said, I'm going forward. I'm going forward. I'm starting again with 5. I'm going forward. Right? And so he was showing you a lesson by example to Acher. It's like, you don't have to be this. You can
start again.
You're a tzaddik.
Start again.
Get yourself together.
Wow, it's unbelievable. That story is it's a bizarre story. It's really bizarre.
But we're just coming off of Shira, so we should.
Yeah.
Get it together.
Okay. The person in any way, whether he's the zaken, the kedusha, and whether he's the tzaddik, he can't be old. And the person, even if the person is a person that's involved in whatever he's involved, he can't feel old either. Everyone has to always have that newness, that freshness, that vigor to start again. Because the main tshuva bechinas is chachus achios b'chol eis. Because that's the way to do tshuva. This is tshuva. If you constantly start again b'chol eis. Shetzarich lechadesh yomav sheyavru b'choshech. You have to renew the days that passed in the darkness. Like we make the bracha in the morning, right? Right, that was one of the lessons we learned in the beginning of Likutey Halachos, right? That I know how to choose from day and night. Day and night is good and bad, right? To know how to choose from day and night, so the person can know till the they were in darkness, but he can bring it. He can bring it to light again through tshuva me'ahava. When the person learns what tshuva me'ahava is, the person can bring it. He can bring it back to. Of course, he can bring light into those days. Right, that's a beautiful words here. Hashivenu Hashem Elecha, right? It's a beautiful teaching on this alone, right here. Hashivenu Hashem Elecha, right? Let me do tshuva. Hashivenu Hashem Elecha. Let me do tshuva. Let me return to you. Vina shuva. What's vina shuva? I already did tshuva. What's vina shuva? It's tshuva ala tshuva, right? Vina shuva is tshuva ala tshuva. Right, when the person first came back to Hashem, and he didn't realize how great Hashem is. He didn't realize how great the Torah is. He didn't realize really what life was, and he said he was sorry, right? And then as he learns Torah and he gets closer to Hashem, he realized, wait a second, those things I did were really bad. Hashem, and that's the way I apologize to you? Hashem, I say I'm sorry again. I apologize for the way I apologize for that circumstance. Hashivenu Hashem Elecha, Vina Shuva is Tshuva, ala Tshuva, the way I did Tshuva. Chadesh Shemenu Kikedem, Kedem. It doesn't matter if the person did the Averis like Kayin, Kedem is for Kayin, right? And Dalit is for David HaMelech, right? You know what the Mem is for? What? No. It was Micha?
Oh, okay.
I think it was Micha. I think so. And there was when he did Averis with either was even a Shrichas Dam, like Kayin. Maybe not perhaps really Shvichas Damim, right? If the person embarrassed somebody berabim, it's Chazal say it's like Shvichas Damim, right? So you can do tshuva for that. David HaMelech did his Maisa with Bathsheba, right? So even if a person got involved in a Maisa like that, he can do tshuva also. Kikedem, and even Avodah Zarah, things of a pesel Avodah Zarah, a person can do tshuva. Right? If a person was living his life and he was, constantly chasing after money or anger or taiva or gaiva, whatever it is, and he can make tshuva also. It doesn't make a difference. Person, we can always come back. Kikedem. Yeah, interesting idea. Okay, Nimsa Shakol Tzrichin Bechinas Midas Erech Apayim. Everybody. So we just figured out now, right? Everyone needs this midah of Arichas Apayim. V'zeu erech apayim l'tzadikim v'erech apayim l'Reshaim. And that's what we said now. We need the erech apayim l'tzadikim and erech apayim l'Reshaim. Either one. It doesn't matter what spectrum the person finds himself on. You need to take on this midah of that savlanut, of patience, and take it easy and cut slack, and you will be successful. V'shar kol hamadregos shall kol shar b'nei ha'adam shebayla. And whatever level you're on, It doesn't matter. Rav Nosson gave us the two spectrums, whether the person's a big tzaddik or the person's a big Rasha, right? But everyone in the middle also. Don't think, well, you don't feel that you're the big tzaddik and you don't feel you're the big Rasha, so it doesn't apply to me. No. Everyone needs this. We all need this. We all need this. Vishar kol madrega shel kol shar b'nei adam. Right? Is that what he's saying, Yali? Do you agree with that? Right? Everyone needs this. Sheba oilam. If the people are not tzaddikim gemurim, right, and then they're not Reshaim gemurim, it doesn't matter. Everyone in between, kulam nichlolim bahem. Everyone needs this. Everyone's included in this idea of the erech hapayim. Ki kol kiyam avaydasam, because the whole kiyam of anyone's avodah, right? Anyone's avodah. If they want to be successful, they don't want to just stay on that same level, coasting, because he can't. We can't. We have to constantly be moving and constantly be changing. Kiyam avaydasam v'chiyusam hu al yedei mida zois shel arichas apayim. We need to have this idea of the arichas apayim. And again, Rav Nosson is going to
Arichas apayim.
arichas. We have the patience. Arichas apayim, erech apayim. Erech apayim, arichas apayim. It changed the, it's the same word. It's okay. Again, Rav Nosson is in the all halacha hey. All halacha hey, Rav Nosson is really using, the example of the story of the 7 beggars, and he's drawing that. And remember that the Rabbi Nachman said that really all of his lessons in Likutey Moharan, all of the lessons in both books, in Likutey Moharan and in Tinyana, really the concepts were all drawn from these ideas. From these ideas here in Hilchos Tefillin, that's where Rabbi Nachman drew all his lessons to really get us to understand these concepts. And that's why he said that one of the most important story was the 13th story in Sipurei Maisis, because that's the story that contains the idea, this concept of the Iver, of that blind person that was old, but he was young, but he wasn't blind. He was only blind to things that he did not want to see, but he was able to see what he wanted to see. So we said he had selective seeing, right? Some people have selective hearing, right? Selective seeing, right? He was selective of what he would want to see. So the world looked at him as if he was blind, because he didn't see these other things. He didn't see all the problems of the world, right? He didn't see them, but he saw only, and they saw that he was old. Yeah, he was old in life. He was the Zakin, the Kedusha, right? But because again, he was young. And that's what he blessed it to, the Chassan and Kala, that way, that you should be like me. You should be able to be old, but young. You should have that same midah. And he explained to the Chassan and Kala at the Chasna, he explained to them, I'm really not blind. He explained it to them. He explained to them I'm not blind, but he explained to them how he was not looking at certain things and how the world perceived him as being blind. As the world perceived them as being blind. And that's the idea, the idea of Shmiras Einayim, right? Really Shmiras Einayim is really that, right? You can go through life, and there's all these different things that come our way. And it's unbelievable. But if a person's trying to be shomer as a naim, he's really working on that. So again, that's an idea of being the Iver, right? On that same thing, because again, he's being blinded to those things. I don't want to see those things. I don't have to see those things. I don't need it. But the world will say, "What do you mean? You got to see these things." So again, we can take on the same midah of the Iver in a right way by just watching. And again, like we say in Kriya Shema, V'lo suru acharei levavchem v'acharei einechem, right? V'lo suru, don't chase after your desires of your heart and your eyes. Einechem asher atem zoynim achareim, that they're trying to dissuade you, to push you away, right? What? In other words, why? So that way you can remember your learning. In other words, if you watch your eyes like this, that's what the Zakin, that's what the Eva was saying. If you're going to watch if you're going to watch what you're seeing, and you're going to watch what you're thinking in your heart, because again, the eyes see, and then the heart desires, right? Right? The eyes see, and then the heart desires. That's what Chazal tell us, right? Ayin rov, alev chaymet, right? The eye sees, and then the heart desires, right? So if I watch what I'm seeing, and I'm selective of what I'm seeing, so then I can also control what the heart is desiring, right? And if the person fills his mind with more Torah, more avodah, more ahavas Hashem, more ahavas Yisrael, more ahavas Eretz Yisrael, right? And he's working on that constantly, and that's what he's filling his mind with, and that's what he's going to try to see, and that's what he's going to have in his heart. So again, of course, the person will be able to learn his Torah, remember his Torah, and again, the main thing is to take on this midah of erech hapayim, this midah of erech hapayim, to realize we're constantly new, and even if the person saw something he shouldn't, okay, I saw it, okay, now I'm going to watch again, and I'll try again. Right? It's a challenge. This is a challenge, right?
You fall down, you get back up.
Sheva tzaddik yipo v'kam, right? We said that, right? He falls down, Sheva yipo, right? He keeps falling down, but tzaddik, he needs the midah of tzaddik to get up, right? Ellie, that was your shot. All right, so I guess we'll stop over here because we finished ches, okay? Shkoyach, everybody.